Welcome back to another episode of Talking Ball with Steveospeak. We are going to get into some drafts, do some overview of where the portfolio's at, talk ball, and have some fun for the next hour. Sorry, running a little late. I'm visiting my sister and setting up in her office took a minute, so that is my bad. And we will get into things in a second. Let me say hi to chat. We got Kicks in here. Appreciate you, Kicks. How many all-purpose yards do you think Bijan gets Sunday versus Dolphins? I mean, let's be honest. The only thing that's going to hold him back is the game script. It's likely a blowout, and probably by a massive amount. The Falcons' defense has actually been pretty good. And I just think they lean on Bijan. He just hits them both through the air, through the ground. I mean, if he wanted, he probably could put up 300, but that's not going to happen. So I will conservatively say he gets 160 all-purpose yards and probably in three quarters. We got our guy Chad Candles in here. Got to hang out with Chad a couple times this week as I'm up in Baltimore visiting Meg. GM. Hope you're doing well, Chad. And we will talk portfolio now that week 7 is in the books. Our Scatterboo bags still feel good. A few others don't feel as good. Mike is wondering where your mic is. Using Meg's mic, not sure. Can you guys hear me well? Let me do it a little closer. Hope that's good. I'm not as familiar with this one. So. We got Hulk Smashed Potatoes in here. Hey, hope you're doing well, Hulk. How's it going? We got Megan here saying hi from afar. Mike Rob, Chad. Steve, how pumped are you that Chad is now famous? Yeah, no, I actually hung out with Chad right before his stream was Pete. So I was hanging out with him and Mrs. Candles and left to go back to Meg's, and he went on and is now the man. He always has been, and he deserves it. I mean, he won a BR last year. He won a seed already. I know he had multiple finals last year. Obviously, killing streams every day, so absolutely deserves it. And he's a great guy in real life, so that's always good. We got Paul Legion in here. Good morning. Hope you're doing well, Legion. The input might be off because it's a bit underwater. Or is it set to the default mic? It's a good question. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that. I see. Yeah. I think it was on the wrong mic. Let's see if let me know if this is any better. We got Putt Daddy in here. What up? Hope you're doing well, Putt Daddy. We got Fantasy Football Garage. What up, fellas? And Chad, appreciate you too. So we will, before we get into any draft, let us get look at the portfolio now that week 7 is in the books. So we are halfway through the regular season for playoff best ball, or not playoff best ball, but best ball that is playoff contest, and then 41% through anything that is season long marathon or drafters. Overall, doing pretty well. You can also bring this up on BBMD, but they miss a few things. They don't have like mini best ball, which I'm actually not doing well in, and rookie sophomore, which I am doing well in. So, and they don't have the MMG contest yet. But overall, feeling pretty strong where I'm at. Kind of good in every area, not like exceedingly well. Honestly, my weakest area right now is super flex. So we're going to work on that. Hoping something I'll get to shortly could help that going forward. Unfortunately, the first thing is my limbs did not make it. I had a sweat last night for both my big limb and eliminator. Neither one got through, so that was disappointing. But I also had another sweat open up in the weekly winners. I finished 30. I ended up finishing 38th overall. I was as high as like 22nd, I think, at least that I saw, maybe even like slightly higher than that. So fell a little bit because that was 22nd I was in the $500 range. and I fell down to 125, 38th overall. But as anyone who knows weekly winners, that is such a grind. I only did 25 entries. So this, and I had only won one previous time already. So this is nearly paying for most of the weekly winners. So hopefully we get a couple more hits in there to pay off that. But that was nice and helped make up for losing both the big limb, which I was very close. I was set up very well last night. I needed Baker or Darnold to overtake Caleb. Baker did, but only by like 6 points. I need Mike Evans to overtake London, and I need Rashard White to overtake Pacheco. And some combo of those to get about 20, 25 points. And it just didn't come through. Evans getting hurt, such a brutal injury. Feel so bad for him losing his streak. He's just not only great Hall of Fame player, but apparently a great guy, great in the community. So yeah, I felt real bad for him and the Bucks. They just couldn't get anything going. They're going to have to figure out the receiver stuff. I'm sure Mbuka will get better and better, healthier and healthier, and hopefully Godwin can come back. But boy, that team is so fun, so good, but injuries are just crushing them. Let me hit up chat before we move on. The next thing, much better. Good. Yeah, okay, I figured it out. Yeah, week seven started strong for me. Had a few like JT, high on, so that was good. But a lot of things I was not. So Legion saying down to my final limb after maxing, have to have recouped only half my buy-in. The house is definitely winning. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, because I only did 19 limbs, so if I made it one more week through, I would have essentially been break even in my limbs. And the big limb, this was the payout week. So if I made it through, I get my money back. So it would have been like total break even. Anything on top of that is just gravy. That's what we're all looking for. And both came close. And, I need Cooper Kupp to have like 15 points last night. He decides to throw an interception and, all that kind of fun stuff for the regular limb. Congrats on the weekly winners. Also, Jets just announced Tyrod starting. Brutal for the Fields bags. Wow. Okay, I missed that. And that is what I'm going to get into next before we get into some drafts. Might not do as many drafts today because there's a lot I want to talk about. So this is what's interesting. Let me switch screens here. And stop sharing. And so looking at BBMD, not just for a portfolio, but another thing you can look at is, like the ADPs and stuff like that. And one thing I realized, this week, we all knew this was the buy apocalypse, right? The only week this year was 6 buys and some really good teams. But even though this is the thing, even some of the weaker ones, like the Raiders and Cardinals had guys in the first couple of rounds. And just, teams like the Lions, Seahawks, who were a much better team than they were being drafted as, and of course, Jags and Rams. So, like a lot of early guys, a lot of offenses we wanted to target. On top of that, so that's 6 starting quarterbacks down. And why I'm looking at BBMD is then we have the injuries, right? We have Joe Burrow and Bryce Young, who's apparently definitely out. Then we have 2 injuries. We're kind of looking at Jaden Daniels, not official yet, maybe because it's Monday he can play. I'm not hopeful, considering he's also dealing with still a knee. And then JJ McCarthy. The stuff like that Adam Schefter and stuff were reporting, like kind of changing the timeline. I mean, Schefter wasn't reporting it, but people were noting the difference in Schefter's tweets. And then the fact that this is a short week, I would just be shocked if they go back to JJ this game for Thursday night. So now we're down 8, or now we're down 10 if both of those guys miss. And this is assuming Brock Purdy and Lamar are back, which hopefully they are. But we're down 10. But on top of that, the starting quarterbacks right now for the Browns and the Saints were not drafted. You are looking at 0% for these guys. And this is in BBM. So in some contests, they might have been drafted a little bit more, some, and, whatever. But Spencer Rattler was not drafted right here, 0%. Highlighting it right here at the bottom. Shador Sanders was 10%. Dylan Gabriel, he's somewhere on this list, but he was 0%. Shuck was 30%. So when he gets over, if he gets in at some point, he'll start starting. But then on top of those two teams, we have Daniel Jones, 45%, Jackson Dart, 35%, Aaron Rodgers, 80%, these three right here. So that's three other teams where the starter, two of which weren't even drafted 50%. That's a lot of quarterbacks that are missing on this slate. And now you add Justin Fields. It is quarterback. Good luck. Good luck. I think a lot of teams, this is going to be like a moving week. If you're in a good spot and you still covered at quarterback and have a good week, and then we need to rely on guys to have a good week. Like I said, Caleb Williams had 5 points. Sam Darnold had 8 points. Even Baker Mayfield, 12 points. We're hoping for more than that. So those could be, you could really see a shift in, if you're ahead and some teams behind you by 50, 60 points, they can make up half of that just from the quarterback position if you're taking a 0 and they're getting 25 points. So this is going to be a very interesting week, I think. Definitely a couple of injuries to monitor. And yeah, I just think we're going to see a lot of shift after this week, both in the weeks 1 through 14 format and of course the marathon format. Did want to give a shout out to the marathon format. Meg did hold her first place. She's still first place in the marathon. And since I'm on BBMD, why don't we just look at that? And let's see if it'll work. And I was 11th place going into last night. I think I fell to 23rd. But so we both have some nice sweats there. And I still held my first place in the mini drafters. But yeah, I just, thinking about the quarterback situation this week and just the 6 teams on bye in general, it's going to be very interesting where things lie after week 8. I think that's going to be very telling for where we're at. I mean, you could still overcome, 50, 60 point deficit, but you could lose a lot of ground this week or gain a lot of ground, depending if you're set up well or not. And UBMD is not really working. So we will get out of that and let's go back to Underdog and get into our first draft. And go over to the dailies. Haven't done really any this week yet so far. Just been focused on last night's sweat, which did not go well, and a few other things. But yeah, how's everyone else feeling about where their portfolio's at, what they're looking forward to, any big sweats they already see coming? And so I'm going to enter the first Battle Royale. This is my first one of the week, so we're going to do this one together. I'm going to enter it in 5 seconds. Entering in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Okay. There we go. The 3 quarterback meta is probably going to save many of us, myself. Yeah, no, and this is why 3 quarterback was so important, and also and the thing I should mention, like people will say, oh well, Joe Flacco was starting that on BBMD. He was only, and keep in mind this is the BBM, but he was only 5% drafted. So maybe in some later drafts, and I looked up Rottweiler, and he was only like 20% drafted in the Rottweiler, which was one of the final drafts done. And even a guy like Aaron Rodgers was only like 90% drafted in Rottweiler. So it showed people were not making the best decisions when it came to that. Let's hope this is not frozen. I'm sure it is. And we're probably already live and made a pick. No, still waiting on 2. Check my phone. But Yeah, so this is three quarterbacks are really going to come into play, and yeah, there's going to be situations where you could have three quarterbacks who are between injured, benched, or on bye. But yeah, the Justin Fields benching, that is going to be something. So no, still not filled. So one more to start. Anyone who wants to jump in a BR, there we go. People didn't want Flacco because he wasn't going to start all season in Cleveland. They were right. Yeah, he got them best outcome. I mean, the fact of it is now it isn't even matter. I mean, look, I don't like Spencer Rattler, but you could just be desperate for a starting quarterback. Um, you know, and how I mentioned the 5 points from Caleb Williams could look like manna next week compared to some teams just taking stone zeros. So, all right, I'm in here. We get the fifth spot. Definitely not my favorite this week, as I mean, Bijan and Taylor just feel so good. Chase and Lamb on paper have tough matchups, but at the same time, it's Chase and Lamb and Flacco. I feel like the Jets are influenced, so I really don't mind the Chase at all. And even Lamb versus Surtain, yeah, they find good ways to scheme him open. He's so talented, and Dak is playing some of his best football. And but yeah, the early draft. I mean, McCaffrey versus Houston's tougher matchup. James Cook versus Carolina, maybe tougher. Achane versus Atlanta, just another team. He's extremely talented, but as we saw with Cleveland, like that is not a good offense. DK advanced with crash week 5, also my first. Ooh, yeah, sorry, Hulk. This past week in DFS wasn't too bad. 2 weeks ago, I had one of my worst DFS weeks. Just totally missed the boat that week. But yeah, no, it's had some brutal swings. RB slate is very deep. Yeah, no, I can agree, especially Chase. I don't. I mean, I will happily take Chase. Damn it. And I think I'm still going to take Lamb here. Tough matchup or not, it's still CD Lamb, still one of the best offenses in the league. They are, people knocked Brian Schottenheimer when he was hired as an offense coordinator a couple of years ago. Dak led the league in touchdowns. People knocked him as hired as coach. Dak is playing great. I mean, defense sucks, but Dak is being amazing. And most of the year without Lamb. This feels like a tough range. London versus Miami. I think I'm going to go Derrick Henry. I'm assuming that Lamar will be back. I think that opens up Henry, and I think the Ravens need to make a statement. Yeah, no, well, that's good. Glad your advance rate picked back up. And no, there are definitely some really early swings, and it starts to normalize the more we get through more buys. And that's the other thing with the week 6 buys, because now at this point we'll have had 14 buys, so almost half week 8 buys. So after week 8, we'll have had almost half the league on buy. So just because right now you could have a situation where you had a bunch of week 5s, 1 or 2 week 6, week 7s, and so you've gotten through the hard part, most of your buys, and so now you're in a much better situation. And conversely, maybe you haven't had a single buy yet, and so you're cooking, but now it's like, oh, I'm going to be missing my top running back and third receiver this week, and then my number 2 running back and 2 other receivers this week. And yeah, I mean that's why people knock the bye week pros, but there's a reality there. Ooh, you know, I'm going to say Jalen Hurts coming off his best passing game, looking great. Um, you know, hoping to get like Devonta late. And I'm going to take Cam Scattenboo because I can. And he dominated Philly last time. I don't think he has 3 touchdowns. Um, but, Mason was running fine, as long as game script's fine. And as we saw versus Denver, like he's involved in the passing game. There are ample opportunities for him to get 2 touchdowns. He had a very good week. Could have had a monster week again. So it's well within the way he's utilized. It's 3 receptions with 6 targets, I believe, 16 carries. He's clearly a major factor on that offense. I think it's a good matchup. As good as Quinshon Judkins is, I think that matchup's way worse because I think New England's run defense is probably better right now than Philly's, and B, game script can just totally go against them. Where if Browns get way behind, Judkins is not going to get passing volume. Yeah, Rice coming back's a big thing for sure, and it's one of those like even if you were cashing, but you're like third, fourth, fifth, maybe in sixth, Rice coming back could definitely vault you back up. You got Mike in here. How many Lambs, Jonathan Taylor teams do you have? I'll have to check that, Mike. Check that after this draft. I'm almost done with this draft. Hopefully, BBMD is back up. I will look at that. So let's hope I should get Devonta back. So this worked out pretty well. And then I will pick my tight end. And tight end, I'm hoping Kincaid's back. I don't mind these. Cade Otton, we saw what happened, last couple of games, but last night, especially when Mike Evans went down, that feels good. Harold Fannin, I don't mind. Mark Andrews, again, don't mind with Lamar coming back, but not really in the Derrick Henry team. Guys like Hunter Henry, Theo Johnson, they can always spike. Mason Taylor, maybe, I don't hate that. I'm going to go with Evan Ingram, though. The Dallas defense is pretty bad. And it is a bring back, so we'll hope that pans out. All right, let me bring up BMD is not working. Let me see if I can bring it up from my phone. Maybe that'll be able to do that. What's everyone else thinking? How are you feeling about where things stand? I know Hulk was talking about his advance rate and where he's at. Because we are, halfway through the regular season. It like Meg says, like you can start to fall in love with certain teams. It's easier to track like some of the more higher dollar ones. Let me go back to there. We're going to do another draft in a bit. Hate that it now defaults to NBA. Wish you could set that. So BBMD not working. Maybe doing a lot of maintenance or something. So I can't check the Lamb/Taylor. I know I did some, but because Jonathan Taylor, I do know I have Jonathan Taylor like 16+%. So let me just look at my exposure rate. And this is just in Maine. Obviously, I have a lot of teams in other formats as well. But Lamb was 8%, so with the field, and Taylor was 16.3%. So, and I was pretty strong on Taylor in most of the various formats. So I'm sure I have a couple. Yeah, and Colts, as always, every Tuesday I'll be on with two games at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And we'll talk game by game, that's for sure. But boy, the Colts are making a statement, and Cowboys too. I mean, Cowboys, they dropped some ones early that they probably should have had, and but they're fighting their way back. You got to give them a lot of credit. Who games? I feel pretty good under advancing with bags of ass and rice. Yeah, I know you're big on rice, and that could be just a big slingshot going forward. And Addison also. I mean, I know they were behind and all that, but Carson Wentz didn't look great, had 2 bad interceptions, but at least he can get the ball to Addison Jefferson. So we'll see what happens there. Slightly above the expected advance rate right now. I'll take that considering I'm built with late season production in mind. Yeah, I think I'm at BBMD. I'm at 25%. All right, finally came up on my phone. Let's see if I can get this going. Lamb and Taylor. This won't, it doesn't reflect marathon, but let's see. Sorry. So I had 39 teams, and then does include a couple badge Rose Brawls. 39 teams with both Lamb and JT. As one would expect, 23 of them are advancing, so about 59%. That definitely seems like a pretty winning combination. I mean, honestly, I think if you got Taylor with, Bijan, McCaffrey, Lamb, Chase, especially Puka, assuming he's back from after the bye, you're feeling pretty good, with those second round combos. And right now, Jacobs is pretty damn good also, but JT definitely seems like the second round guy you want. All right, let's get back into another draft. Hopefully I can get one of the first 2 picks because I want plenty of Bijan and Taylor. They are, just in such good spots. And I mean, JT's role, we love to see it, right? I mean, he's getting 80% of the carries, 95% of the red zone work. He's getting targets. And he's also scoring outside the red zone. He's just so good. All right, I'm going to count it down. I meant to count it down from 10 last time, just to help people get in. I'm going to count it down from 10, entering in another Battle Royale in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So, yeah, I think my total portfolio, since I have it up, BPMD, and again, not counting the few things it doesn't count, is 25.55%. And a really strong advance rates in all the puppies. Best Ball Mania, I'm at 27.5. Sprint, I'm at 24.3. Slightly lower than it was yesterday, but I'd have about 5 to 7 wild cards, so feel good overall. And then some of the higher dollar stuff, feel pretty strong. Pitbull 3 of 10, Husky, of the combined 2 of them, I'm 9 of 20. Chow Chow 2 of 9. What else? Dalmatian 2 of 3. Bigger Board 2 of 5. Bulldog 3 of 4. So definitely where I want to be there. So I got the 101. And for me, it's Bijan. I mean, you can make a great case for JT, but Bijan, JT, 1-2, every time I'm going to be taking them. So didn't get anyone else in here. And yeah, I think the dailies this week are going to be interesting with so many teams on buy-in, the quarterback situation. Even the 6-man drafts, like quarterback is thin. I have an article up later tonight. But, quarterback feels really thin this week. Just because you got some guys in some, bad spots. Let me make the pick. As much as I love Drake May, going against Cleveland isn't my favorite situation. It's just that, or it's like these blowout potentials like Daniel Jones versus Tennessee. Baker versus Saints. Lamar, he's coming back from an injury. Can Jackson Dart do it the second time around? Does the Baltimore defense step up? And really Caleb. I mean, Caleb, and we'll talk about it with 2 games, but Caleb did not look good. They won, and, he didn't look great against the Commanders either. I actually don't mind Flacco versus the Jets. I just feel that team's imploding. And, if Purdy's back, I don't really have interest of him versus Houston, and Penix is banged up. Sounds like he'll play. It is Miami, so that's interesting. Can we do Tyrod against Cincinnati? Sure. Would have preferred Fields, but boy, that is interesting. Wow, I know Jets team. Oof, it does not feel good. Yeah, it did. Like the quote earlier that I saw, where it was like, "We could just complete a pass; it would look good." Never a ringing endorsement for quarterback situation when the owner is saying that. You get Steven McDevitt in here, 18% here, first year playing. Thank you for your advice all summer, Steve. Help get me above the field on May, Scat, and Rome. Well, appreciate that, Steven. And yeah, hope these guys keep going. And 18% is good. 16.7 is the average. So anything above that, you're above average. And especially for a first year playing. And hopefully you're enjoying it, because, I'm both Meg and I, and pretty much everyone in here, of course, we're big best ball fans. I mean, that's where I just love where best ball's at and how it's growing, and the upside and the potential for it. So hopefully you're enjoying it, and we're always here to offer advice, be a place to talk, chat about ball with, and we'll appreciate you joining us. So here at the 12-13, it's interesting. I mean, Allen versus Carolina, I think is fine. I like a more 12 this range, like when his ADP, just went at 10. So I really don't know what to do with Saquon. Like, it's just the running game that just looked so ugly versus the Vikings. And the Vikings have been getting smashed on the ground. I will double tap receiver here. Much as I like Henry, I'll take Mbuka. Sweeney's healthier against the Saints. Gordon Sutton against Dallas. Sutton didn't get there against the Giants because he didn't have a touchdown, but he had 12 targets. He's clearly the guy. He's so very talented. And yeah, against Dallas always feels good. It's always whoever against Miami. Yeah. I mean, Tyrod, or it's I'm sorry, no, it's Atlanta versus Miami. Yeah, Tyrod going to be playing the Bengals, another easy defense. So yeah, it's just, I agree. Like, these quarterbacks have such a matchup against these bad defenses, but I wish they were just better situations. Bowers, Lamar, Jaden, Pearsall being fully healthy, yes, 100% agree. And that's one of the reasons why I'm struggling some in Superflex is I was all in on the early quarterback. And those guys outside of Josh Allen and Hurts have been injured. And I honestly kind of wonder, Allen's been pretty good. Lamar was doing great, but then he got injured. So, yeah, it's and just in general, Jaden was I think my third highest quarterback on the year. So, yeah, his injuries have been very frustrating. Enjoying it a great deal. It's so much fun. Good. I love hearing that. That is awesome to hear. I'm going to be on Derrick Henry this week. Yeah. No, I'm the same. I'm with you 100% who aims. We saw against the Rams, Henry was trying to do it all. And the Rams are pretty good defense. And, he didn't get the touchdown, didn't get there overall, but he was so close. And when Lamar's back, the offense is just going to be so much better. And yeah, Lamar's a great passer, but we're drafting him this high because we're expecting him to run. They might not have him running a lot, especially in this matchup against the Bears, who are a better team. This is not a gimme win by any stretch, but I think their game plan is going to be not to force Lamar to run. So I worry about Lamar's upside for this. And I think their game plan to do that is to have Henry be the bell cow, have Flowers, Andrews, and hopefully Bateman get some stuff done through the air. So yeah, coming up here, got my receiver set. Can obviously go back to Scatterbook. He's there. I think Javante's okay. Reese Hall. What do we do with this guy? There's just with this offense being so bad. DeAndre Swift on paper looks great against Baltimore, but after the bye, maybe it's changed. Don't mind going to tight end here. Kittle didn't do anything. Tough matchup. Ferg, tougher matchup, but still Ferg has been basically undeniable this year. So we're going to go Baker. And I think we're going to go Ferg just to mix it up. Actually, yeah, we'll wait on tight end. We'll take another Scatteroo share here. I do wonder about some of these running backs. Don't feel great about Chase Brown. J.K. Dobbins is fine, but he just doesn't have a huge ceiling. And, if this was 12-man, I could see Dobbins a bit more. Because, I think he can get plenty of weight, plenty of paths to 15 points. 8-4, like I said, 15, 11, 15, 14.8, 15. But in the 6-man, you need guys who are getting 20. And not a huge path there. Rashard White, if we knew Bucky was out again, I'd say White. Didn't get there last night, but on the field, son. Stevenson's tough matchup. Pollard just can't trust. So that's why I went. Kamara going forward will be interesting. Tough matchup against Tampa. Offense is bad, but Kendrick Miller out for the year. I think he's going to see more usage. I think Devin Neal starts playing more, but Kamara is going to be even more utilized. Glad you had JT ranked high, working out well so far this season. Also avoid a lot of Tyreek. Appreciate the rankings. Well, thank you, Tim. Appreciate you. And yes, I'm sure I know many of you are, but you can sign up for our Substack. One-time payment, full year. Our rankings, our DFS plays, our bets, my underdog rankings for the dailies. And yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for the support. Hulk Smash, Devin Neal pre-draft eggs alive. Yep, exactly. Might be. Very well might be. Look, we just saw, Monangai, Rashard Smith, these 7th rounders. get involved more with their teams. And I definitely think both of those are going to stay. I don't know what the latest is on Kareem Hunt, sprained ankle. Haven't heard any latest, but it just makes sense to start utilizing Brashard Smith more and more. He's very explosive, very fun. Checo's looking better, but there can be two pieces there. And same with Monangai. And Swift's looking better, but Monangai's looking good as well. You can see Neil, gain some usage. That's what we're hoping for these other guys like the Taj Brooks and, Giddens is probably going to be tough sledding. That was the thing. That was always a contingent play. It was never going to be a split workload where some of these other guys can be. All right, I need tight end again. I'd love Goddard. Doubt he gets there. If not, I don't hate Kyle Pitts. I mean, Miami is bad. We just have some of these teams who just look so awful. I mean, how bad do you have to be to make the Browns look decent? Because most weeks it's the Browns. Oh, he goes on. I will take Goddard. Down week for him, but plenty of upside. Shout out to Pat Frymuth too. Rogers, you guys crushed the rankings. Yeah, hopefully we see more of that from Frymuth. Hopefully Steelers realize like Frymuth and Jonnu, that's where your target should be going after DK, and hopefully they keep doing that. And yeah, Rodgers is looking good. I mean, I know they lost on Thursday night, but it wasn't Rodgers' fault. One interception was. The other one, got ripped away. But honestly, he looked really good that game. And Steelers, that was a defense issue more than anything else. We got Eddie in here. Steve, my drafters team, took it this week. Felt bad. Sorry, Eddie. Yeah, I didn't see where you're at. I ended up falling to like 23rd, 25th, 27th, something like that. So I fell a little bit as well. But yeah, where'd you end up, Eddie? Still plenty of time. Giddens feels better knowing it's better than expected. No, that's true. Like now the contingent play is I know they have Abdullah, but he's one of the best pure handcuffs now. So I'm praying nothing happens to Jonathan Taylor, but if anything did happen, Giddens would be a fantastic contingent play. All right, let's get into another draft. And I will count down again. Enter in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So Wayne on 1. Yeah, I need a healthy Taylor too. That's definitely, because I was low on a couple guys who are really smashing, like JSN. Like I would be honest, I was low on him. I just didn't. I was better on him in like full-point PPR formats, but I just didn't think he'd have a major touchdown role. I thought 5, 6 touchdowns, right? I mean, he's getting 1 a game. He's just having a fantastic year, and he just looks so much better. And honestly, Darnold, I wasn't really too worried on Darnold. I thought Darnold could be an okay, good quarterback. But Darnold and JSN are looking real good. All right, I got the 5th again. Definitely not my favorite spot. Yeah, I really want to be in the top 4 this week. I don't hate Lamb. I don't hate pulling Cook up, even against a tougher run defense in Carolina. I think Cook and the Bills can be an exception there. Coming off the bye, I think they could get things going. It's a big week for them. They need to win after the Atlanta loss. Cook started out on fire. Oh, just exactly what I said. Has cooled off. Hopefully, Josh Allen and Cook come out of the bye. But yeah, I think they will. Cook, even in that last game against Atlanta, he had 80 some rushing yards. He actually ran the ball pretty well. Didn't have like the explosive 60-yard run or anything, but ran the ball well. I think that should be considered a bad game for him by any stretch. Bad run out with game script. We saw more Ty Johnson down the stretch. And then the two plays they subbed in Ray Davis. Ray Davis catches one for a touchdown. Those are the only plays Ray Davis played all game. So, yeah, just a poor run out, but I think James Cook's going to be quite all right. It's hard to see from the top. 122nd and 321 on drafters currently. Still plenty of time. As you saw, like the swings can be big, and hopefully just going forward, you really keep having stacking really good weeks and keep climbing back up. So no, I'll be rooting for you, Eddie, and hopefully I'm right there with you at the top of the leaderboards. All right, I will easily take Chase. Extended week, 23 targets. Doubt that happens again, but this dude absolutely cooking. In Flacco, you can just tell they're having fun. Love to see it. Love to get the Chase and Higgins bag still alive. So let's see what the turn does here. You know what? I probably will end up ranking Henry higher than Cook, but I'll take some Cook here. Currently advancing 32% on BBM, but I only did 31 drafts. Hey, nothing wrong. I only did 8 drafts. Mega did 24. No, she did 30. I did 24, something like that. You don't have to max, and it's better to have, spread out your portfolio and money to, some lower stuff and things that you feel better about. Because that's the thing. Like the BBM, it's a great tournament. But boy, it is a grind in the playoffs. And that is nice about having the regular season pool. I think I have can't remember, 2 or 3 teams in top 10,000. I'm hoping for like 3 or 4, get a little bit money back that way to help. It's one of those things, like you want to break even in as many places as you can. My wide receivers are Nico, Rice, DK, Jennings, running backs, Hall, White, Monty, Hendo. Would you trade DK for Jalen Warren, Scatterboo, or Saquon? I would do it for Scatterboo. Now, is this full point PPR? Nico's unfortunately not in a great spot. Like the Warren stuff, I think the Seahawks will try and stick with the run, but I think that was a hot hand. I could see Gainwell, even Johnson getting some work down the stretch. I think they want to run the ball, and their offense line is better, but I also think that was more of a fluke. I don't think we're going to see Jalen Warren ripping off 100-yard games. I know he had a touchdown called back, but he's just not a touchdown guy. He's 6 in his career up till this year. So I would go Scatterboo. He's probably getting you more yards, more targets, definitely more touchdowns. And even if the yards and targets end up similar, the touchdowns are going to be such a swing. Saquon, is it straight up for Saquon? Saquon obviously is great usage as well. So if it's DK for Saquon, I'd do that. If you have to add more, whatever. I'll go Tyler Warren here. So full PPR. Yeah, don't love Juwan Jennings' situation, Nico with concussion. But I understand you need some help at running back. That's tough. I don't know. Do you have any other receivers than those 4 guys? I'm assuming. When Nico's back, him and Rice should be carrying your team, but he might miss a week or two with concussion. You just never know. Actually, I'm going to go A.J. Brown. I'm super excited for my super flex. This team isn't super deep, needs help, but I have Bijan CMC. Wow, that is really strong at running back and flex. And so, yeah, if your quarterback and super flex can be pretty good, you're going to be set. I'm sure I agree on Giddens, and it feels like they want to prove JT is the best running back. I think the point is just it is now, there's no question as the best contingent spot. I mean, we're all, I think, all on the same page of hoping nothing happens to JT. But if anything did, Giddens is in like the best spot. The offense is cooking. The play caller is doing great. The offensive line is looking great. We're like, we thought that about like Will Shipley or, whoever. Like I know Gritty was on AJ Dillon, but it's like if something did happen to Saquon, are we thrilled with any of these options? Not to mention they have Tank Bigsby there now, so it's like a 3-man situation. Sad my marathon team suck. I had too much Purdy. Yeah, the injuries do hurt more on the marathon or sprint. I mean, maybe you can get some back on the sprint. There's going to be a lot of wild card teams. So to see. But yeah, I mean, like I doubt you'll be lucky if you get one usable week from Giddens if JT doesn't get hurt. All right, Hurts comes back to me. Did not expect that. I will happily take it. Running back's interesting because there's no question Swift has looked really good, and the matchup on paper feels strong. I mentioned Dobbins before. Brees Hall, I just don't think I can do it. I mean, Judkins, I think I got to go there. Tough matchup and all, but at least we know he's the feature back and he's really good at football. But outside of that, sorry, 1 second. Sorry, Rudy's in the office with me. He's sleeping and he's growling in his sleep. So he must be dreaming of something weird. Yeah, exactly. Purely handcuff. Definitely best handcuff situation. Nobody can pick up. Yeah, then if so, I mean, Barkley, well, it's tough. Like Barkley's, we know, extremely talented. The offense is a mess right now. It's got to move. I think it's real. I don't think anything's going to change it, and I don't think Tracy got there this week with the most wide open run you'll see, and that's not a knock on Tracy. It's just I don't think he's getting a 31-yard touchdown run if that's not the most open run of the year. And my main point is I don't think it changes things. I don't think the Giants are going to be like, oh, we need to give Tracy the ball more. Because down the stretch, it was, more scary. I forgot Taj Brooks could eat into Chase Brown's workload, but I forgot teams love bets. Very true, Hulk. Very true. Yeah, no, I did too. Yes, Bijan, it's 101. Nice. I forgot big board overlaid, 1.8%, and bigger board. Yeah. No, there's going to be some wild card teams in both of these. Correction, 7.1. And big board, just because there's so many entries. I looked it up like 2 weeks ago. I should have written it down, but it's like 2,000 teams, I think. Something like that. So definitely could get a few more in. And then the little board, too, that had some wild overlay. It was only like 54% filled or something like that. Going to week 8, I still have more BBM shares of Adam Thielen than he has receiving yards. Yeah, no, as I'm right there with you. I mean, Adam Thielen is my highest owned guy. And this is, one thing, yeah, like, and I'm not judging, like, people can talk about what they want to talk about, but people chalking up one bad player, like it's never going to be one player, one injury. Because like Thielen is my highest drafted player, and I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, it's going to kill some teams, but a later round guy. Now, yes, if you drafted 30% of some guy early and he tanked, that's going to hurt. But if it's somebody late, you're going to be fine. Now, if it's Thielen and you had 6 guys like that who just are total dust, that's going to be harder. But it happens to the best of us, and it's crazy. I don't get why they traded for him. They gave like a 4th round pick for him, and I know first couple of weeks with Addison, but very, very odd. I'm Kittle and Fannin, so I can flip Fannin into a wide receiver. Okay, yeah, no, I like it, Smitty. I like it. Yeah, definitely strengthen the running back room because, the Dowdle stuff was nice, and he still might be the lead dog. Or not Dowdle, Rashard White. Rashard White was still some usable weeks, but it's just going to be tough to know week to week. Monty, kind of same thing. Hendo, oh boy, he's down bad right now. So yeah, it feels like you need a running back top tier, I guess. Little Board 2 was 64.5%. Yeah, crazy overlay that one. So it's going to be wild. Like anyone who maxed it, probably has a good chance to get a few wildcard teams. All right, let's maybe on with 2 games in half an hour, but I'll do one more quick draft. I'm going to mix it up, do the Wildcat. Don't want to do all my Battle Royales. Probably going to do like 20 this week. So I'm going to do a Wildcat, my first Wildcat. So let me jump into one here. I'm going to count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So I will drop a link to Huheim's stream when I get out of here. Sprint and marathon. Now they're different situations. Like marathon, we know it's top 12,000 advance, so they're roughly the same percentage. So it ended up being, instead of 75,000 entries in the marathon, it was like 54,000 and change, somewhere in that ballpark. So your chance of getting in the top 12,000 or better, and your chance of getting the number one, a top spot, was better. We got our guy Mike in here. We got Crutches in here. So Hulk Smash Potatoes. We got some familiar names in here. Good seeing you guys. I got the 2, so very happy with that. As I mentioned, the easiest decision of the week for me. And the sprint. So every first and second place team will get a spot, and then there would be the wild cards to fill the 9,300 spot. So we don't know how many. We know how many spots that will be, but we don't know how many first and second spots are past the wild card. Or past the 9,300. Like I know I have 1 or 2 after 9,300 that are, if it ended today, would be locked into a spot. But yeah, those had some nice overlay on UD as well. Just need a week 17 have a contention. They test Addison. They rest. Yep. Yeah. I also wonder, it's just a weird thing. Like I don't think they trade Thielen or Naylor, but it's like they just feel expendable. One of them feels expendable right now. Yes, I almost have 40% Thielen. Yeah. So you have all these teams that need wide receivers, and the Vikings are hoarding them and not using them. So it's just one of those things. Like honestly, if he gives 1 or 2 weeks just to help advance, like look at and I realized DeMarcus Robinson was an 18th rounder last year, but the guy who won the BBM does not advance without DeMarcus Robinson. He had so many injuries with Higgins, Pearsall, one or two other receivers. Trying to remember his lineup right now, but he had some other receivers who are out. We are going to go London this time because that matchup is real nice. I'm going to take Sutton. So, if Thielen gives like 2 usable weeks, I'll be happy. I really will. I was told by some random streamer that Tyler Lockett was a good pick. Are we hoping he gets traded? Well, he's a free agent now, so hopefully somebody signs him. Hopefully it's somebody who needs to use him. I ended up like 8% Tyler Lockett, 9% Tyler Lockett, same sort of thing. Like he goes somewhere, he pops for a week or two, I'll be okay. Yes, just watching Steveospeak, yes, to get people drafted worthy. No, I mean, not wanting to shade Davis, but yeah, I know he's not having a good drafting year, and yeah. I think I respect the grind, but yeah, some of his takes, his refusal to, as he would say, capitulate to the running back. That was a take. That's a take. I mean, we're seeing it once again. Yes, there's always going to be some receivers, but receivers are getting more injured than running backs, and running backs are just king. I mean, look at this week. The stats. We guys like Devontae Adams, 3 touchdowns, Keenan Allen's game, all these games, they're not coming close to what JT, CMC, Gibbs are doing. Junkins, etc. Rashee Rice got 19 points. Jenkins got 30 points. Like, I will go to AJ. No. You know what? I don't do a lot of 3 receiver. Actually, no. I'll go Javonte. He still gets all the backfield work. Not the greatest matchup. Bring back in that game. I'll go Goddard. I'll stream the quarterback this week. I'll see what comes back left to me. So my real take is honestly, like, whether you believe in 0 running back or not, it's about building it appropriately. Like I talked about this with Emo Cowboy, and I respect like Emo Cowboy. Like I think he builds 0 RB one of the best that I see, and there's nothing wrong with it. It can work, but you just have to do it right. And yeah, no, I think mixing up, not totally putting your portfolio into one style, particularly a style that doesn't score as many points, is the more ideal. I mean, there's still ways to do 0 RB or hero RB very well, but it is, right now, just more and more points are coming from the running back position. TY is 6 slots lurking here, taking Henry early and sniping it for me. Hulk smash like everyone. Yeah. Have a favorite build type and mix it all in. Yeah, no, exactly. And all right, let's go. Quarterback. I'm gonna just gonna roll with Dak. I got a piece of it already, and I mean, pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. Dark was Hunter, bro. I mean, no, the issue is those kind of takes, all of them. Like I have 10% Taj Brooks. Taj Brooks has barely seen the field this year, but you need to know when to stop on those guys. And you can say Thielen I didn't stop on. Slayton hasn't done anything this year. I've like 20% Slayton, 20% Thielen, 20%, 23% Caleb Johnson, and that was an earlier pick, and still doing well. So I'm not saying that as a flex, but more like there's ways around it. It's never going to be one pick, one player, especially later round players, as I mentioned before. So, I think that is, just something to remember and something to keep in mind. Advancing BBM, but two things. You never know. Honestly, I'm guessing the guy who won BBM last year, I doubt he thought he had a shot entering the playoffs. That team was very banged up, and I know it was like I looked at BBMD last year. It was like his 15th highest scoring or 16th highest scoring team. I think he had like 30 make the playoffs. So it was like middle of the pack of his playoff advancing teams, and that's the one that won it all. I know the guy who won the year before, same sort of thing. He went in kind of limping with a few injuries, but Jordan Love just had this amazing run out. Lamb had a great run out, ASB. So you just don't know what hits. Only at 10% Brooks. Well, I'm pretty sure. Like here, I'll bring up. Got a few minutes. I'll bring up my exposures. And I've talked about this on shows. I know you're joking and all, but like Thielen, my number one guy, 23.2%. Scatterboot, 22.7. James Cook, 18.8. Let me just highlight like receivers. So like Diggs is my number two. Come on, trick me, throw him a touchdown. I need some touchdowns. Slayton right there. Keenan Allen doing good. Adams doing good. Higgins, thank God you're alive. Wes Flacco, Pearsall, Dunze, Cedric Tillman, injury. Mike Evans, injury. Cooper Kupp, just love JSN. I got on him way too much late. Still could pay off. Debo, need him come back. Running back, Taj Brooks, 9.6%. So definitely am in some very high dollar stuff, which is unfortunate because I thought he was a little safer than some other guys. But I really mixed up guys down the road. Like only one guy over 20%. Eckler 17%. I thought Caleb was higher. That was maybe a pre-draft. But Kamara, maybe now he gets live. Sampson, that's looking rough. Pollard, Connor, Genty. So, it's hits and misses across the board. Like the combined Cleveland running back ownership of Sampson and Ford thinking is taking advantage of the Judkins potential suspension. That did not, and just thinking the offense would be somewhat feasible, did not pay off. Kenneth Walker, two sharp touchdowns last night. That's just brutal. Really hating how we're seeing that. So, I ended up like the later round guys a lot in like the 8 to 10% range. Where are some other ones? I think Bigsby, that one looks definitely dead. Miles Sanders, 7%. The Shipley, 7%. So I really tried to spread it out. Mononga, 6.4%. Not feel good about that one. So really tried to spread it out because I just didn't want to be caught overweight on some, but just like totally dead with some of those guys. All right, let me catch up with chat. Then I will post the link to Huheim's channel. Zero R&B would work with Javonte. Yeah, there's always a path for it, right? And it's just the issue becomes when Scatterboo is my RB3, or Jenkins is my RB3, Dowdle my RB4, Dobbins my RB3 or 4. Like, I'm just going to be better than the team that even hits all four of those guys. 4 or 5 of those guys. So my highest scoring team of DK will likely need Jarkett was in the playoff. I think it survived week 15 or 16 by less than a point. Yeah, the one last year, right? Right, Chad? I believe that's what we're talking about. Both, yeah. Well, Travis Hunter, good news is those bags. I'm sure Williams and I will talk about that. Definitely looking better, and coming off the bye, we're hoping for the post-bye rookie bump. So I actually feel pretty good about Travis Hunter because I'm very overweight on him. Feeling didn't get traded. I agree with that. Like, it ended up, I thought it would be a better landing spot. It just did not turn out that way because McCarthy could not move the ball the first couple of weeks. And then, of course, Addison came back. Naylor came back healthy. Honestly, hope a Cook team helps you and Meg win a good chunk of money because that'd be great for next year's drafts. Yeah, we have some good sibling showdown teams together in various formats. And she was very anti-James Cook, but I convinced her in a few. Top team was drafted against Meg on y'all's stream. Good to see it. Guild Arenas with a 4-split team. I did not see that. That is wild. Should I have interesting 0 RB was possible, but late RBs hitting don't. The profile 0 RBs generally target. Yeah, and that's part of it as well. Is you need to target the right guys, and that's why I talk about Emo Cowboy. Like, there are others who do it. At one time, I did a stream with Andrew and a good friend of the show, Jake Wiles, jumped in. He did a 0 RB team, right? I took a minute. I can't even remember what draft this was. This was like back in July, and I said, I wanted to comment that this is how a 0 RB team should be done. And I did it on 1 or 2 of my streams. It's definitely not my favorite format. I would just draft it all Scatterboom and Quinchon. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm regretting, my general fate of Quinchon after the news. Right, let me link to Who Games channel. I'm going to get out of here in a minute. So any other comments and questions, happy to answer them. And my biggest thing is always, and we talk about it, mix up your builds, mix up your structures. Like I'm 3 quarterback 80% of the time, and you can say, oh, that's not mixing it up, but that's just from a structural build standpoint. I think that's the way to go. Like, regardless of, like, the only times I don't do it is double elite. That's probably not working this year because a lot of elites and even that second tier elites, guys like Fields, Kyler, Purdy are missing time. So I think that's much harder to do this year. Because, like Meg was telling me about a team that she has, I think Lamar and Purdy and Aaron Rodgers, and it's, I think, still advancing or in 3rd place. And so it took a 0 week 5. And Rodgers has been her guy for multiple weeks. And then he was, just the guy that she has to rely on. So that 3rd quarterback keeps that team alive. And now Lamar's back, and maybe, he's probably taken over. But it's just one of those things, like, that 3rd quarterback matters a lot. All right, here is the link to the Who Games stream. I'll be on at 3 p.m. Eastern. Let me hit up chat before we get on out of here. Well, you could do anything or be a bust. I mean, I'm leaning bust. I had a couple pre-draft, very few regular draft. What get penny? I can't even remember. Yeah, I had $8, 0.2% on brand new. So I just could not buy it, and it sounds like, the comment is we'll evaluate after week 10 or something like that. And then they would buy week 14, so they were getting almost no regular season work. Maybe he's back for the playoffs if you're lucky, but that was the problem, is he was still going like top 10, 11 rounds for most of the year. Dude's hitting late. Dobbins, Javante, Ramondre are all RB0 crowd, the loser job. Yeah, exactly. Got a Joe Burrow, Drake May team that should advance in Bulldog. Nice. I Question is, when you win the 2 million, Steve, how much do we get? Yeah, well, let's win the 2 million first, and then we'll. I'm sure we'll have plenty of good giveaways if one of us do this. When do you head home? I may need to check with neighbors. Mike Rob, come take my house. I can only squat in your place. I decided I'm gonna head out Friday morning. Stay for Thursday night football. Celebrate some more football with my sister. Enjoy that sweat, hopefully, and go back Friday morning. Superflex, I'm carrying a Burrow and Lamar. Yeah, that's the tough thing. Those guys just didn't. Don't tell the people. All right, I'm gonna get up out of here, but I will be on with New Games in 10 minutes. Be talking ball, going through every game. Should be a good time. Hope everyone is doing well, and good luck this week. And hope we can survive the bye apocalypse and definitely the quarterback apocalypse. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.